All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into business English.
Okay.
But not just like your basic vocabulary and definitions. We're going to kind of go a little bit deeper into like how language can actually completely transform your presence in like any professional setting.
Yeah, you know what's so interesting about that is that we tend to focus so much on like the technical aspects of language, grammar and vocabulary, all that stuff, but we kind of forget about the psychological impact of the words we choose. It's like having a secret code almost that can influence, how people perceive us and how they respond to our ideas, and ultimately how we can really, effectively navigate the world of business.
Okay, so not just about sounding smart or professional,
Right.
but using language strategically to like get what you want.
Exactly. Like think about it. Every phrase, every word is like a little signal. It conveys more than just the surface meaning.
Okay, I like that. So you've got a script here with 20 powerful business English phrases. So what are some of the first ones that can help us make a strong first impression?
Well, right out of the gate, we have, let's get started.
Seems simple, right?
Yeah.
But it's actually a really good way to subtly establish leadership. Taking initiative to kick things off, you're signaling confidence and a proactive mindset.
I can see that. But doesn't it also depend on like the context? Like if you're in a meeting with your boss, maybe you want to let them take the lead.
Yeah, for sure. Adaptability is key.
Yeah.
Let's get started is perfect for situations where you're expected to take charge. Or, like you said, if you want to like inject some energy into a conversation that's stalled.
But reading the room is important.
Always.
Okay, so it's not just about memorizing the phrases. It's about understanding like the nuances of when and how to use them.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next?
Okay, so we have, I'd like to introduce Handy. Now, this might seem like basic courtesy, but it's actually a little deeper than that. When you take the time to introduce people, you're showing respect for them and acknowledging their presence. And this can really foster a more inclusive and collaborative atmosphere right from the start.
Yeah, it's funny how something so simple can have such a big impact on the whole dynamic.
Okay, I'm starting to see the power of these phrases.
And then there's, can we schedule a meeting? Again, this might seem obvious, but think about it. What's the alternative? Popping into someone's office or, sending a bunch of emails back and forth.
Right.
But formally requesting a meeting shows respect for their time, and it shows that you're organized.
Okay, I'm definitely guilty of the like popping in. I can see how that can come across as like disorganized or even disrespectful, especially for people who really value structure and clear communication.
Yeah, and everyone's so busy these days, so valuing people's time is a huge asset.
Okay, so we've talked about those first few phrases, setting the tone and creating that positive first impression. But what about when you're in the middle of a discussion and things are getting a little bit heated or going off topic? What are some phrases that can help navigate those situations?
Well, one of my favorites is, let's circle back to that. It's just a really nice way to kind of steer the conversation back on track without, being confrontational or dismissive. You're acknowledging what the other person is saying, but signaling that it's not the priority right now.
Right. Okay. That's much better than saying we're getting sidetracked. But is there a risk that the person will feel like their idea is being ignored?
Yeah, that's where, active listening is really important. You don't want to just like say the phrase and move on, make a mental note to come back to it, or even like suggest a specific time to discuss it. It shows them that you value what they're saying, even if it's not the focus right this second.
So it's like you're balancing acknowledging their idea, but like also maintaining control of the conversation, but making sure that everyone feels heard.
Exactly.
It's like a little dance.
It is. Okay, what else?
Okay, so then we have, could you clarify that? This one's all about clear communication, which is so important in any professional setting.
For sure.
By asking for clarification, you're not only making sure that you understand, but you're also prompting them to articulate their thoughts more clearly.
Yeah, because sometimes you think you understand what someone means, but then when you ask for clarification, it can reveal like these hidden nuances or even prevent misunderstandings later on.
Exactly. And especially in business where decisions have big consequences, clarity is crucial.
Yeah, it could be the difference between a successful project and, a big mistake.
Huge.
Okay, so we've covered setting the tone, protecting everyone's time, steering the conversation back on track, and making sure that everyone's communicating clearly. What's next?
So welcome back to our deep dive into, the power of language and business English.
Okay, so before we move on to the next set of phrases, I think it's interesting that you mentioned empathy. I usually think about empathy in terms of like personal relationships, not really in the workplace.
Yeah, that's a pretty common misconception, actually. But, even in a professional setting, you're dealing with people who have, their own motivations and perspectives and even insecurities. So when you tap into that empathy, you can really create a more understanding and collaborative environment.
Okay, I'm curious, how does empathy translate to practical communication skills?
Well, it starts with really listening and trying to understand where the other person is coming from. But it also goes beyond that. It's like reading between the lines, picking up on nonverbal cues, and just being sensitive to their emotional state.
So it's not just what they're saying, it's how they're saying it.
Exactly. Like imagine you're in a team meeting and someone seems a little hesitant to share their ideas. Instead of just saying, "What do you think?" you could say something like, "I sense you might have some thoughts on this. We'd love to hear your perspective."
Yeah, that's a good example. It's like you're acknowledging their hesitation and creating a safe space for them to contribute.
Exactly. And that's how empathy can really, help build trust and rapport. When people feel heard and understood, they're more likely to open up and share their ideas, and it just creates a more positive and productive work environment.
Okay, so empathy is like the secret ingredient.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's get back to our list of power phrases.
Yeah.
We've covered first impressions and navigating discussions. What about the phrases that can help us, keep things moving and make sure everyone's on the same page?
Okay, well, a classic one is "I'll follow up with you."
Okay.
Now, it might seem like just a simple courtesy, but it's actually a really powerful way to show accountability. When you say that, you're not only reassuring the person that you've heard their concern, but you're also committing to taking action.
Oh, I never thought about it that way. But you're right. It's like turning a vague promise into a concrete commitment.
Yeah, and in business, trust and reliability are so important.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, what's another phrase that falls under this category?
So we have "let's touch base." It's just a nice way to maintain momentum on a project without being too formal or demanding. It just implies an open line of communication.
I use that one all the time.
Yeah.
But I guess it's more than just a casual check-in. It's about, fostering a sense of collaboration and shared responsibility.
Exactly. It's about creating a dynamic where everyone feels comfortable communicating updates and, working together.
Okay, so we've talked about following up and touching base. What about keeping people informed? Sometimes it's easy to get siloed or people feel left out of the loop.
Yeah, for sure. That's where a phrase like "I'll keep you in the loop" can be really useful. It's simple, but it's effective. You're demonstrating transparency and making sure that everyone feels included.
But is there a risk of over-communicating? Do I really need to keep everyone updated on every single detail?
Yeah, that's where using your judgment comes in. It's about finding a balance between keeping people informed without overwhelming them with too much information.
So be strategic and intentional.
Exactly.
Not just copying everyone on every email.
Right. It's about respecting people's time and attention.
Okay, we're making good progress here.
Yeah.
We've covered first impressions, navigating discussions, and staying on top of things. What's next?
Okay, so now we're moving into the area of collaboration and teamwork.
Okay.
This is where phrases like "what's the timeline" become really important. It's about, setting clear expectations and making sure everyone's on the same page about deadlines.
I like that it's straightforward.
Yeah.
Gets right to the point.
And then we have phrases like "that's a great point" and "I appreciate your input." Now, these might seem like simple pleasantries, but they're actually really important for creating a positive team environment.
Yeah, you're acknowledging their contribution and validating their ideas.
Exactly. It's about creating a space where people feel comfortable sharing their thoughts,
Without being judged.
Right.
I've definitely been in meetings where people are afraid to speak up
Yeah.
because they don't want to be shut down.
It makes a big difference.
Okay, what else?
So then we have "let's table this for now." This is a great way to acknowledge an idea without letting it completely derail the conversation.
Right, the art of the gentle deferral.
Yeah, I like that.
So many meetings get sidetracked.
Totally.
By one little tangent.
Exactly. And this is a way to say, "We hear you, but let's stay focused."
Okay, I'm liking these insights.
And to round out this section on collaboration, we have "how can I assist you?"
Okay.
This might seem basic, but it's actually a really powerful way to demonstrate teamwork and support.
Yeah, it's more than just offering help. It's like expressing a willingness to contribute to the team's success.
Exactly. It's about fostering a culture of mutual support where everyone feels comfortable, asking for help and offering their expertise.
Okay, so we've covered setting a positive tone, navigating discussions, staying organized, and collaborating effectively. What's next?
Okay, so now we're moving into the realm of decision-making, action, and leadership.
Yep.
These are the phrases that can really help you drive projects forward and inspire your team to achieve their goals.
Okay, I'm ready for this. But I think we're going to need a little more time to dive into these phrases.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's just say that for the final part of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned, listeners. We'll be right back to explore how to use language to inspire action, drive results, and unleash your inner leader. Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into business English. And we're talking about how to use language to really inspire action and drive results and unleash our, inner leaders.
Exactly.
So we've unpacked a lot already. But I think this last set of phrases is where it gets really interesting.
You're right. These final phrases are all about moving from discussion to decision-making and from ideas to action.
Okay, I'm ready.
So let's start with, we need to align on this.
Okay.
This phrase is all about achieving consensus, making sure everyone's moving in the same direction. It's particularly effective when you're facing a complex decision or when there are differing opinions.
Okay, so it's more collaborative than just dictating a decision.
Exactly.
It's more inclusive.
Yeah, you're inviting everyone to participate in the decision-making process.
Right. And that makes people feel more ownership of the outcome.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we need to align on this. It's about getting everyone on the same page. What's next?
Okay, so next we have, let's prioritize.
Okay.
This is about, focusing your energy on the most important tasks.
Right, because it's easy to get bogged down
Totally.
in a million little things.
Especially in a fast-paced business environment.
Yeah.
But this phrase helps you cut through the noise and stay focused on what really matters.
I like it. It's like a mental decluttering tool for your to-do list.
I like that.
It forces you to say no to the things that aren't essential.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got alignment, we've got prioritization.
Yeah.
What other phrases can help us move from talking to doing?
Okay, well, I'd like to emphasize, this is a really good way to draw attention to certain points and make sure they don't get lost.
Okay.
It's particularly useful when you're presenting or leading a discussion or giving feedback.
Oh, it's like a verbal highlighter?
Yeah.
It's like, pay attention. This is important.
Exactly.
Cool. What's next?
Okay, we have, can you provide an update? This one is all about accountability and making sure that projects stay on track.
Okay.
It's a really simple way to request progress reports, gather information, and keep everyone in the loop.
I use that one all the time.
Yeah,
But I guess it's more than just asking for information.
it is.
It's about setting expectations and keeping things moving.
Exactly. And it helps everyone feel accountable for their part of the project.
Okay, so we've covered alignment, prioritization, emphasis, and accountability. What other phrases can help us really inspire action?
Okay, well, there's that classic, we need to think outside the box. I know it's a bit overused, but the sentiment behind it is still really important.
Right.
It's about encouraging creativity, challenging assumptions, and exploring new possibilities.
I admit I kind of roll my eyes when I hear that sometimes.
Yeah,
But you're right, it's about the intention. It's about pushing ourselves to be more innovative.
exactly.
Okay, what else?
And finally, we have, let's move forward with this plan. This one is all about decisiveness and taking action.
Okay.
It signals that the decision has been made and it's time to get things moving.
It's like a call to action.
Exactly.
All right, we've covered so much today. It's amazing how much power these little phrases have.
I know, it's pretty cool, right?
It's like you've given us a secret decoder ring for business success.
I like that.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one final question you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Okay, think about this. Beyond these specific phrases, what personal qualities do you think contribute to effective communication? Is it confidence, empathy, active listening?
Ooh, that's good.
Cultivating those qualities can really make you a more impactful communicator.
Yeah, because communication's about so much more than just the words, right? It's about connecting with people and building trust and inspiring action.
Exactly.
So keep practicing and keep refining your communication style. And keep striving to connect with people in meaningful and authentic ways. Until next time, go out there and communicate like a pro.